All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm the Miles Park principal, Tamika Taylor Ivory, and I truly appreciate our opening with Mr. Brown of allowing you to see our CMSD website that has a lot of information in regards to what will happen in a return to hybrid learning here at Miles Park School, as well as across the district. Or if your child chose to remain in remote. So I hope that you've had a wonderful morning this morning, and now this is the opportunity for you to see engaged on the screen our 5th through 8th grade teachers that will currently be on the screen over on the, it's probably on your right hand side. I think, yeah, your right hand side of the screen. So if you are a pre-K to 4th grade parent, we did our 9 a.m. Meeting this morning, and all of those staff members were on. However, I am repeating the same exact information again. So if you have multiple children here at Miles Park School, you'll have a second dosage of this information. However, if you are not able to physically get on, or you know another family member that cannot get on at this time, we are recording this and it will be posted on all of our social media. So I'll begin now at this time. Thank you for all my teachers that are on, as well as for our parents that have taken the time to learn a little bit about remote learning here, as well as hybrid learning as we transition. Beginning actually this coming Friday for our first phase. We have 3 phases that will take place here across the entire district. So what I would like you to do is please make sure that you mute your mics at this time. Please make sure if you have any questions to please put it in the chat. I will have somebody monitor the chat. We will begin, well, we will end probably, I'll say about 10 minutes early, so that it gives you the opportunity, if you did not put your questions in the chat, so that, or you had questions specifically to our middle school or 5th grade staff members, it would give you that opportunity to be able to ask them at that time. All of your scholars should actually be in independent work at this time, so that you will be able to engage in the learning or information that you will receive about our hybrid return back to school plan. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to read word for word from the screen. I'm just going to hit some highlighted information for you. Just like I said, with any of our virtual activities that we do here, we ask that you mute yourself. This is always going to be recorded. But one piece that I did want to add here is that if you do have questions that maybe you don't feel comfortable asking in this large forum, or that you don't want to put in the chat, you can take the time to go ahead and email Christine.Wade@clevelandmetroschools.org, and we can return the response to your question within 48 hours. So once again, that is Christine.Wade@clevelandmetroschools.org. So here at Miles Park School, as well as across the district, safety, 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 health, and well-being, especially in this pandemic, are our top priorities. It's no different if we were in remote learning at the very beginning of the year. Our safety, health, and well-being are our top priority. Teaching excellence is very important for us, as well as you've had the opportunity to engage with all of our wonderful teachers this current school, well, actually over 3 marking periods to date. We want all of our scholars to be successful academically, socially, and just grow into more positive scholars here in preparation for a real world application. So just keep some of that in mind, as we also have to focus in on health and safety protocols just around the world when we go to the stores, when we're inside the building, but we will discuss things pertaining specifically to Miles Park School. And you just saw the video, and this link that you see down here, as well as it's going to be placed in the chat, you can find out even more information about what all CMSD schools are required to do, as well as what your child would see when they walk into our school buildings. CMSD is offering 3 different models of learning to finish out the remainder of the school year. And I would like to stress this. This is for the remainder of the school year. One is the hybrid option that I will be talking about, or the remote that your child has been engaged in all school year. Option number 2 is what they have been doing, or they may be in our virtual academy. Now, the only thing about the virtual academy is that these are assignments that are already posted on the student's website. And then what will happen is that the student will go ahead and complete the assignments. The teachers will give feedback, but there is no live teacher that will be working with your scholar 4 days out of the week and for a specific amount of time. Remote, like I stated before, you guys have been engaged with this since the beginning of the school year. Hybrid is a little bit different because now you're going to have the in-person days that they come, as well as the remote days that you kind of have been used to. Now, I do want to stress this to all families. You will only have until March 19th, which is actually next Friday, to opt out of hybrid learning. All students that are enrolled here at Miles Park School are all placed in hybrid. If you want them to opt out, meaning that you want them to continue in remote learning, in which that's what they've done all school year, you would need to call Miles Park School. Let us know that, or student assignments. This number that's right here at 216-838-3675, so that you can say, I want my child to opt out. You must have an email address so that we can confirm this is your decision. This was an error on anyone's part. When you receive this email confirming this is your choice for your child to remain in remote learning, or maybe you're considering the virtual academy, you'll need to click confirm, and then this information will go to the district as well as to the building level, and then we will notify your child's classroom teacher. So there are 3 phases. The first phase will be our self-contained units. Those teachers that are Mr. Plaga, Brown Boyer, Ms. Dorsey, Ms. Clark, Ms. Wheeler, as well as Ms. Spencer. All of those students that are in those teachers' classrooms will come to school this Friday, March 12th. Okay, once again, I want to stress that the specific classroom teachers that I named are the only classrooms that are physically having students to come to school promptly at 8 a.m. to Miles Park School. That is our phase 1. In phase 2, we will have preschool through 2nd grade coming to Miles Park School in our hybrid model. I just kind of explained the hybrid model by saying your child will come in person 2 days out the week, and the other 2 days they will be in remote learning. So for example, your child will come to school if it's a Monday, Tuesday, and then on Thursday, Friday, they will be in remote. Our activities are the same on Wednesday. In phase 3, 3rd through 8th grade would then come to Miles Park School for their hybrid, 2 days in person and then 2 days in remote learning. So that is the hybrid model, and it is phased over the next 3 weeks. This week, the following week, and the last week, which is the week before spring break. Now, if you need assistance with helping you determine should your child remain in remote, should you consider the virtual academy, or maybe just you have questions about what hybrid looks like, here are some points of contact at the building. Myself, which is Miss Ivory. We have our assistant principal, Miss Wade, our dean of engagement or culture, Mr. Brown. Mr. Hill is our SAYS coordinator, and he's also the person that connects you to the learning pods or any other community resources. Ms. Helber helps us. She's one of our VILS coaches. She helps the students with the iPads, as well as Ms. Petrus. She helps with Project Act. And of course, our school secretary, which filters all of our communication from you to our classroom teachers or to any of the administrators. On the next slide is a list of district support numbers so that you would be able to have access to this as well. We also have this on our Miles Park website, as well as it's on all of our social media. And as well as if you are receiving my IVR messages, I have placed that information on there as well for you to refer to. And this is more of district level support. The previous page is building level support. So as we return back to hybrid learning or remaining in remote, and this is our plan for the remainder of the school year, it's very important that all of your contact information is updated. There may be changes in your address, your telephone number, your email. There also may be changes with who you would like to contact your child here at school, or who may come up to the school to give your child something, or just in case your child is ill, that you no longer want that person to be the one to pick them up, or maybe there's somebody else that is available to pick them up just in case they become ill. So we're definitely going to need to make sure all of the contact information is currently updated upon return. Now, this here, we're going to talk about our school hours and visitation procedures over the next two slides. So our school hours here will be 8 a.m. to 2:15. The reason why I'm stating 2:15, you'll see over the next two slides. You must make sure that you have an appointment when you want to come to the school building. When I say come to the school building, I mean coming inside of the school building. You must make sure that you follow all COVID protocols, 6 feet of social distancing. You must have a mask on. There'll be temperature checks. We'll ask, had you been in contact with anybody that has tested positive for COVID? In the office, though, this is very important that you remember this. We only can have 3 visitors at a time in the office. So if you come to the building and we already have 3 visitors in the office, you will be asked to either wait in your car or to wait outside at our marker. At our marker, so that you would be able to be the next in line to come into the building, into the office area. We are asking that no food be delivered to our schools. And if you need to meet with your scholar, it's very important that you call the main office so that we can arrange for your scholar to come down to the main office and meet with you. If your child is going to be being picked up early from school, it's very important that you call us prior to 2 p.m. because our procedure is not any different, because we shut down kind of our building from 2 to 2:15 as we prepare for dismissal from school. So we cannot, and this has not changed, this has always been my Miles Park's policy here since I've been the principal now for, was it 7-8 years here at Miles Park. Early dismissals, parents must have a written note. They must call prior to, so we already have your child in the main office so that you can pick them up from school prior to 2 p.m. That is our early dismissal process. So I do understand sometimes something is an emergency, but every week is not an emergency that your child has to leave prior to 2 p.m. We also will not have birthday parties. We kind of do spring celebrations here, but this year we are not going to be able to do that, as well as go on field trips. All of our field trips are going to have to be virtual. So in order to keep everyone safe, our students, our staff, as well as our community, we are letting you know right now, and it will be in any literature that goes home from Miles Park. It will be on all of our website, as well as this is a policy across the entire district of CMSD. Parents, guardians, visitors, even volunteers, and I appreciate all of my families that always, want to help me out and volunteer here at Miles Park, are not allowed to go to the classroom, to go all throughout the building. Some people try to help me in the breakfast room, the lunch room, monitor hallways. I am not going to be able to do that for the remainder of this year. You only will be able to come into the main office, and then you will have to leave out of the front door. So I just want to stress that to you. No parents, guardians, visitors, or volunteers are allowed to go throughout the building or to visit other classrooms. The goal here is always to keep everyone safe. So the next item that I'm going to talk to you about is arrival and dismissal, because that's extremely important for everybody to know. Our school hours, once again, are 8 to 2:15 p.m. Our office will not open here, meaning someone available to answer the phone, until 7:45 a.m. and the office will close at 3:30 p.m. It is also shut down from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. for sanitizing of the office, as well as so our secretary can have her lunch. The building does not open up until 8 a.m. So when you drop off your scholar, you want to drop them off at least 5 to 7 minutes before, unless it's raining outside, but 5 to 7 minutes before we open up the school door at 8 a.m. So that they are able to get into either, so that if you're dropping them off, they will need to stand in the drop-off line, or if they're walking to school, they'll be in the walkers line. If they were on the yellow bus, they will be in a yellow bus line, so that when we open the door, we are following our COVID-19 building protocols, CMSD protocols, before entering students, allowing students into the building. The reason why we are dismissing beginning at 2:15, and depending on how everything goes, sometimes it goes extremely smoothly and we're right on time of dismissal every 5 minutes. If not, we may have to push the time back a little bit more. But this was our last year dismissal procedure, and it's going to be the same one, except anybody that enters the building must exit the building from the same location, which will be the front of Miles Park School. So if you are coming to Miles Park to pick up your child from school, you will need to park on the 93rd side of our building. Your child will come out with their classroom teacher, and then they will walk over to your car and get into the car. If they're being picked up by daycare, it will still be the same procedure, and that will be at 2:20. Our first dismissal begins at 2:15, and that will be the yellow bus riders. Yellow bus riders will be picked up along the Miles Park side of the building. That will be escorted to the buses, and then your child will get on their designated bus per the transportation roster that has been provided to the school. And then our last group, which still will leave out of the front entrance, but they are called on a stagger, is our walkers and our RTA riders. But everybody that visits Miles Park School or comes to Miles Park School, that includes our employees that are assigned to Miles Park School, must come in the front entrance, and they leave out of the front entrance. So you may be asking, well, who do I contact if I have issues about transportation? So that will be our Dean of Engagement, and that would be Mr. Brown, and he's going to talk to you about RTA tickets and the yellow bus.
Thank you, Ms. Ivory, and good afternoon, everyone. Again, it's a pleasure to greet you once more and again. Just want to quickly say that to all of our students who will be eligible for RTA passes, bus tickets, they are two-way tickets. Again, we'll give them to you in the afternoon where you can have a ticket to get home with, and that next ticket to be able to return back with. That way, you have a way to get back home and back to school the very next day. Now, if you lose your bus ticket, yeah, you lost your bus ticket. That's about the best way I can say that. But now I will issue out bus tickets during lunch. At some point during lunch, I'll come to your classroom or things of that nature. So don't go giving your teacher a hard time about, well, I got to go see Mr. Brown right now. No, I will come to you because we don't want a lot of traffic back and forth through the hallways and things of that nature. So I will come to you during a designated time. If not during lunch, I will coordinate the time with your teacher to identify when that will happen. Now, if you are on the yellow bus, as Ms. Ivory just said a few moments ago, yellow bus riders will be dismissed first. Then, then we're going down the list of all other students, how they'll be dismissed at the end of the day. However, and then if you are being picked up, if there's a parent guardian daycare program or after school program that's coming to pick you up after school, certainly everybody has to be off campus, off of school grounds by 2:30. This is not like in the years past. Though you may say, well, Mr. Brown's new here, I'm not new to CMSD. So again, we don't have after school program. We don't have a basketball program. There's no cheerleading. There's nothing happening right now. So you will have to vacate the premises by 2:30. So I don't know if the Salvation Army is open, or you need to go to the library, or someplace else. If you all got to, buddy up and maybe go as as a small group of students to another location. But by 2:30, we do have to make sure the building is clear, and things of that nature. So that's about all I have. And I will have a checklist sign off for those students who will be receiving bus tickets, so I can just have verification that you did receive it, and or be making sure we do a check-in, check-out to make sure that you are either on or off the bus on any given day. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Brown, for that information about transportation. So family, if you have any questions about transportation, we don't assign the buses here at Miles Park School. We receive that from the district in regards to transportation. And then we make sure that your baby goes on that yellow bus. Or in regards to RTA, we don't assign who receives RTA tickets. The district provides us that list of names and specifically the bus ticket to give to a student when they come in person to Miles Park on those days that they are here. So on to our next area. So getting ready for school. This part here is extremely important that parents clearly understand. This is a different day and age, meaning with the COVID. I know sometimes some things look like allergies because we're about to hit allergy season. Some things look like just a common cold. Some things look like the flu. However, if your child, and it doesn't mean they have to have all of these symptoms all together, it could just, they just have the one. It can mean that they have multiple ones, but they must stay at home. They must stay at home if they have a fever of 100.4 with, with giving them Tylenol. They must have at least 24 hours without a fever, without giving any form of medication. Okay. If they have any of these symptoms, they must stay at home for at least 24 hours. So I need to stress that to you because we will have that notated. We will have a healthcare worker that will be here that will be working our COVID room. And then we also will have our nurse here as well. So if your child was sent home or called you to say, I need you to pick them up because they have one of these symptoms here or have that fever, you must come and pick up your child. It is very, very important in order for us to keep everyone safe that you have to do this screening of your own baby at home before they come to school. And I know this is our 5th through 8th grade and we kind of, want to give our kids a little bit of independence, or maybe they don't feel comfortable talking about, maybe just say that they have diarrhea. Please have those conversations because we don't want them to spread anything, as well as we don't want them to be here if they're not feeling good, because then they will not give us their best. And we want all kids to be successful. So I want to stress that once again, any of these symptoms, the kids must be at home for at least 24 hours. So if your child was sick today and it's 2 o'clock right now, and that means tomorrow 2 o'clock would be the soonest that they would have been able to come to school. If they had a fever, we would not see them. Today is Tuesday, so we would not see them technically really to Thursday, with it being 2 o'clock. Okay. Next slide. So part of this getting ready to school, people are asking, does my child have to wear a face mask? So we are going to talk specifically about students in 5th through 8th grade, because like I said, I did a morning program at 9:30 and we talked about the primary age groups. So all students will be provided 3 masks, which will be in their book bag. They are required to bring their devices every single day. I already talked about kind of their temperature checks, but that will be part of the process of getting ready for school and entering the school building. Uniforms are not required for them to wear here to school. However, students cannot wear see-through, the cutoff shirts, things that have inappropriate language on the front of their shirts. They can wear t-shirts, they can wear jogging pants. We don't have a problem with that, but we want things that are appropriate for school. We don't want them to look like they're going kind of like to the beach, or that they're going to a club. I guess that's a good way to put it. But uniforms are not required like the ones we had with the button downs, the blue, black, white. We're not requiring that to finish out the remainder of school year. So in grades 1st through 8th grade, part of the reason why we're giving them a book bag is because they need to make sure they have their device with them every single day. We do have charging stations just in case they forget to charge their device. However, in order for them to work on their assignments in their teacher's classroom, they need their device. We're not just throwing away Schoology, or that they're not going to be doing Schoology while they're here in school. They still are going to be utilizing that, because remember, they're coming here in person 2 days out the week, as well as the other 2 days will be remote. And you've experienced remote before. They will still be using the Schoology in order to do or submit their assignments. So I just want to stress that kind of to you. And they must have their mask on, and they must have their mask on every day and during that class period. So breakfast and lunch. So in hybrid, and remember that's the 2 days in and the 2 days remote. Breakfast will be during their first period class, the first 20 minutes of the class, okay? They will be eating breakfast inside of their classroom as well as inside of the, and for lunch. Let me put that for lunch. So we are going to open up the doors at 8 a.m. When they come inside of the doors, what will happen is that they will put their book bag on the table like they've always done for Officer Frisco or for Officer Sutton to check their bag. They will go through the metal detector. Their temperature then will be taken, and then they will walk to the location where we will have the milk or juice and the bagged breakfast. If you don't want your child to have breakfast here, please make sure that they are here at 8 o'clock. They'll just walk past the breakfast area and go right to their classroom. If you are in remote learning, that is your choice. We still will be having Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for you to be able to pick up your breakfast and lunch. Remember, that is included in the bag, in one bag, breakfast and lunch. So we still will have those designated days that you'll be able to come to Miles Park School to pick it up from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. However, you would not go back to the back of the cafeteria to pick that up. You will have to come to the front entrance, because remember, we're only using one entry point and one exit point, which is the front of the school building. And one of our cafeteria workers will be there to provide you with the bag. So when we talk about hybrid learning, I just stated once again, 2 days in, 2 days in remote. Now for our special education or special population groups, they actually, the ones that start phase 1 will actually come 4 days a week. So that would be when we're talking about 5th through 8th grade, that would be Ms. Brown Boyer. That will also be Ms. Dorsey's classroom, and Ms. Clark and Ms. Clark and Ms. Spencer's classrooms that would, for this grade band, will come 4 days per week. So once again, there's only a specific group that is assigned to come beginning this Friday the 12th, as well as specific groups that come 4 days a week, and the other groups come 2 days in person, and the other 2 days will be remote. And once again, you have the opportunity to opt out. You can call the number that's right there on the screen, or we can help assist you here at Miles Park School. Here's just a kind of screenshot to show you what a possible schedule will look like for that grade band. And if we go down to where it says KA, they call them cohorts. Where it says cohort A, that means your child comes on Monday and Tuesday. And then on the opposite days, Thursday, Friday, that's when they would actually receive remote instruction from their classroom teacher or another teacher. For the hybrid Bell schedule, we go back to our regular schedule, which starts our school day at 8 a.m. And that would be also for hybrid. So we would no longer start, we no longer would start remote at 8:30. Remote would start, which you'll see in a few minutes on the next slide. Hybrid Bell schedule begins at 8 a.m. Our doors are going to open up. Our 8-period day includes a lunch and an encore. Kids are considered tardy at 8:15. Prior to 8:15, what will happen is that you will, if your kid is late coming in after 8:15, they must go to the office, they must have a tardy pass, and they take that tardy pass directly to the classroom teacher. However, prior to the 8:15 time, they will follow all of our COVID protocols that we have in place. We're putting their book bag down, that's checked. They go through the metal detector. They must have on their mask, temperature checks, and then they will grab their breakfast and then go directly to their class. During that first period class, they still will have SEL that is provided the first 15 to 20 minutes. They will have their breakfast if they choose to. They don't have to eat it, but that is the time frame for them to get their breakfast done. The first, say 15, 20 minutes, it'll get better over time, because just like when we learned about remote, we are learning also about how hybrid would be here in our building. And toward the end of the class period, we would do our morning announcements, because that is what we did when we were in person. The last period of the day, which is 8th period, that is when teachers, and that's why you say, oh, I thought this building closed at 2:30, or we start dismissing at 2:30. That's why we start dismissing at 2:15. And that's why I said 8th period is more of a recap of the day. We're preparing to go home. We're also preparing, if your child just say came on Monday and Tuesday, telling the kids what they need to be doing on Thursday and Friday in preparation for the class they just took on Monday and Tuesday, and to remind them what happens on Wednesdays. So that is what that 8th period does each day for students, regardless if you are in hybrid or if you are in remote, their very last period of the day. However, in person, our classes are about 47 to 50 minutes each. People had questions about, when are we going to have mask breaks? Oh my God, my child has to wear a mask, as well as adults. We have to wear a mask all day, every day. Yes, you do, if you are physically inside of this building. When you have your break is when you're eating your breakfast, when you have lunch, and also at recess. We do have scheduled in bathroom breaks. There'll be one in the AM and there will be one in the PM. Adults are the only people that will be moving. We will not have transition of classes. The classroom instructor is actually going to the location where that group of kids are for that day. So I want to stress that to parents. Adults here are moving to your child's class. Your children are not moving once they have come into the building, they've been checked for our protocols, and they are physically inside of their classroom. They will not be using lockers. If there was a cubby spot, they're not using cubbies. Everybody's materials are all of their own. So if they have a jacket, their jacket is placed on the back of their seat. They have their book bag that's placed on the back of their seat as well, or up under their chair. But we are not having where there's a big pile of coats sitting on the table, or book bags over here because they need to use that spot. All desks are all 6 feet apart in the areas. If they're sitting at a table, that is 6 feet apart from the next person. So teachers will not be moving classroom furniture or any of that. It's already set up. We have a safety team that has went through and inspected each classroom with all of the PPE materials that are needed, as well as how the classroom setup should be for each of our scholars. So in regards to the remote bell schedule, most of it is kind of the same. Remote will be, I had on here from 8:15 to 2:30. Remember, you have your last class, and it's only 150 minutes with a live teacher. The other minutes are more of independent work, but they have 150 minutes, which always consists of ELA and math, and a rotation of either science or social studies. So I want to stress that to you. Just like we've been doing remote all year, your scholarship receive 50 minutes of ELA in remote, 50 minutes of mathematics, and then they should have the rotation of science and social studies. Okay, so it just depends on their grade level and how that teacher sets it up for that rotation of science or social studies. Once again, live sessions are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. As before, and on Wednesday, we have the students do ExactPath or ST Math. One other thing that I do want to state about the Wednesdays. So think, for the example, if you're in person on Monday and Tuesday, this gives you the perfect opportunity to make sure you have all of your homework done from Monday and Tuesday's activity on a Wednesday, because ExactPath and ST Math, both of those should be about, I'll say 40 minutes each. That's not even a whole day that you would normally do if you were in person or if you were with your remote teacher. Then if you're doing your homework assignment, that gives you an equivalent of an entire school day. You are considered, once again, late now, because remember, you before in remote were starting at 8:30. You don't start at 8:30 in remote. We're going to our regular bell schedule. Where we're considering you tardy is at 8:15. So this gives you the opportunity to go get your breakfast from out of your kitchen, or if you came to the school and you picked up your bag lunch that already had your breakfast included in it, then you can go ahead and begin eating that. But you need to make sure that that screen is logged on, ready to go for your teacher beginning at 8:15. And remote teachers will give you a little bit more details about which period specifically, what they're going to be doing far as clarity. We are, as much as possible, and the majority of my teachers are still remaining with their exact class, but you may be getting an additional teacher to help support your numbers, okay, and give you a little bit more academics that when they're working with another group of students. However, so just stress this: if you don't have your voicemail set up, if your kids sometimes click off voicemails because they hear their teacher calling, Thursday and Friday is going to be very important days for you to make sure that you're continuously checking your voicemails and making sure your scholar is not clicking it off, because the teachers are going to call your home on Thursday. If they did not speak to you verbally, not just leaving you a voicemail, they did not speak to you on Thursday, they are following up, calling you on Friday. And then if they don't hear from you, then they will be leaving the voicemail on that Friday to tell you what day your child is to report to Miles Park. If your child is on the yellow bus, they will be able to tell you what the time is. If your child is on the yellow bus, they'll tell you also if your child gets RTA tickets. And to be honest, we only have maybe about 8 kids that are getting RTA tickets. We don't have a whole bunch of kids getting a yellow bus either, because honestly, usually in 7th and 8th grade specifically, they usually do not get the yellow bus. They usually ride the RTA. This year, because of transportation and yellow bus and the guidance, they're not really doing sibling riders anymore. And on the average bus is about 14 kids, and they're sitting every other seat. But this coming Friday at the latest, teachers will be calling the first round on Thursday, and then following up with you on Friday. Even though for 3rd through 8th grade, you are in the last phase, which is the week of March 22nd. But we want to begin making sure that you are aware of what days your babies will be coming. Also, to give you the opportunity to decide, do I want my child to remain in remote learning, or do I want them to go ahead and do the hybrid? Whatever selection that you make, next Friday is the 19th, and it kind of locks you in for the rest of the school year. Okay, so I kind of talked about that already, about the mask, the social distancing, the temperature checks. One thing that I did leave off in the main office, when I said only 3 people could be in the main office, it is marked off on where you must stand all throughout the building, on the walls, on the floors. It is marked off where people must stand to make sure that they know that they are social distancing. Even inside of the classrooms where the desks must line up, it is marked off as well with traffic patterns, so that you should feel more safe, your child should feel more safe, our staff should feel more safe inside of the building. And like I said before, we have a safety team that will be meeting daily and monitoring our school to make sure that we are staying within the required protocols. On Wednesdays, when students are at home, we are doing deep cleaning and sanitizing of our school buildings. Teachers are not required to be here physically at Miles Park on Wednesdays. However, if they are, of course, the cleaners will clean once they leave the building. But just so that you know, because we'll have a different group of kids that will come in, just say on Thursday and Friday. The building will be cleaned and sanitized on Wednesdays. So the next two slides are just going to talk about what should students expect and what should families expect. So of course, we want all families to know that your kids are going to receive a high quality instruction from our classroom teachers. They've been getting that all year. Okay, your babies are doing the best you can. You're supporting your kids the best that you can. But now that some babies are going to be here in person, as well as for our ones that will be remaining in remote, we'll be able to give you even more specialized support. The devices are not going out the door. So please do not think that just because your child is in person, that they're not going to be using the devices. And don't think just because your child's in remote, and I'm saying we're just going to be doing ELA and mathematics and a rotation of math and science, that, okay, some days my kid is going to do their Schoology and Seesaw. No, it still is going to be required. This is our curriculum that we are using, that we've been using all school year. It just gives us more opportunity to provide more specialized services. All of our meals will be pre-packed in a bag for breakfast as well as in lunch, and for providing us the opportunity to avoid large gatherings. Everyone will eat in the inside of their classrooms for breakfast and for lunch. We do have an assigned health aide for our COVID classroom, and as well as a nurse. That's our, what we call is our care clinic. I've already talked about the 24-hour rule for symptoms that was on that chart, and that is also on that CMSD website. But I just ask repeatedly, please notate this. If your child is sick and you find out that they do have the COVID, this number here is the number that you need to call. But I also ask that you call and notify me. I'm not going to put saying your child's name over the PA system. I know you probably like Ms. Ivy is tripping saying that. No, I don't want a family to feel that way, but I have to make sure that I know everybody that that child has been in contact with, because I need to be able to see if there's something that I need to do to notify their families, or do I need to move to the next level of following all of our COVID-19 protocols. So please call our school to speak with me. You don't have to have a note that stated my child has COVID-19 and that's written somewhere for somebody else to see. No, you just ask to speak to Miss Ivory for a private matter, and I'll know exactly what you're talking about. I'll give you a call back and get the information from you. So if you were to come to the school building, once again, you're going to have to make sure you're social distancing, make sure that you do your temperature checks before coming here, because you're still, when you walk in the building, you still will have your temperature checks done for you. Also, so that you feel more safe. I just talked about what happens with the buses. There's several buses, but they've also reduced the number of kids being on the bus, and students as well as staff members, not just students that'll be here in this building, have to wear their mask at all times. This one here is pretty simple. We will continue on with our family engagement activities. We will have our SBO meetings. We will have a virtual parent conference, teacher conference. All the information you need to know will be on social media, our Miles Park website, and we want to continue on with our two-way communication. I know all throughout this time that we have been at home, we've used the phone, we've texted, we've emailed, we've video conferenced. So we want to continue that, even though we are moving to either hybrid or remaining in remote. I just wanted to put this here because we did get a lot of calls today, and I know this was on the CMSD website. What school supplies do, meaning you as a parent, you need to get? You don't need to get anything. This is what the district is going to be supplying for you. And honestly, a couple of these things your baby doesn't even need. But however, in their book bag, each kid will receive a book bag. They will each get 3 masks. Water will be provided. So kids will not be able to bring in water bottles at this time. Water will be provided. We are going to provide a folder so that teachers can send home communication to you. However, we want to continue with our means of the texting, the calling, and so on. Or if you need to just send a quick little note, maybe it's the one I talked about, you need to do an early dismissal for your scholar before the 2 o'clock, and that needs to go down to the office. That's not a problem. However, we're trying to say paperless, contactless. That's why everybody's required to bring their devices, because that is how teachers will be doing their lessons. They will not, the students will not be bringing their workbooks here to school unless it is in their book bag. It will not be left here. If it is left here, we don't have a, if you want to call it a holding area for them. So that textbook or whatever will kind of be honest, will probably be discarded, because we're sanitizing every day. Every book that your child needs is right there online. Plus, we want them to keep their materials at home so that when they're doing their work on their remote days, that they're able to refer to it. They don't even need paper, but we will have paper that's provided to the classroom teacher, as well as pencils, so that if for whatever reason, I don't know, the child's computer all of a sudden dies or something, and the teacher needs the kid to do the work right there, the teacher are more than likely take a picture, because they're not going to keep that paper. So I do want to stress, they are not keeping any papers. Normally we have a lot of like print rich things up in our classrooms and our hallways. Right now, until we get total clearance that we are, I guess, COVID clear, we are trying to reduce as much as possible paper or shared materials, because we can't do any of that in order for all of us to be safe. Now, in regards to earbuds, now if you do have earbuds that you want your scholar that he has been using all year, that you want him to use, he needs to make sure they are inside his book bag. But I do want to stress, we are not responsible for those earbuds if they are lost or stolen, because remember, they're going to have their own space. They'll have their own book bag, and it'll be placed on the back of their chair, because we're not using lockers, we're not using cubbies. There's no other place but in that classroom that child is assigned to, because adults are moving, not kids. Okay. So we've already talked about what's appropriately for school. You'll find out what your child's schedule is from the classroom teacher. Something to just support your family, because I know this is going to be different for families that come here for hybrid, your 2 days in, your 2 days off. Please put on your refrigerator or in your child's room or area where the family kind of talks about things that you guys have planned, what 2 days that they're supposed to be here physically in person. Because just say, for instance, your child is assigned to come, just say the first 2 days for anyone in 3rd through 8th grade, which is March 22nd, which is the week before spring break. And say they missed their Monday, Tuesday, they missed Tuesday. Oh, well, I want to send my kid to school on Thursday to make up for that day. No, you can't do that. If you are assigned Monday and Tuesday, your child missed either one of those days, they cannot come back into the following week at their assigned date. So I just need to stress that to parents. So even if your child missed, just say they missed Monday and Tuesday, you can't decide to send them to school on Thursday and Friday to make up for the 2 days they were supposed to have in person on Monday and Tuesday. We'll be calling you to tell you to come pick up your kid. And I do understand people have jobs. They have to, they can't just get off their job. But remember, all of our rooms here there's a capacity limit. That's how we keep everybody safe. And we have a set group of kids, or they call them cohorts, that will be together. So there is not a location to keep additional children. That's why the teachers are going to call you way ahead of time. Because remember, your date for 3rd through 8th grade does not come to Miles Park for hybrid learning until March 22nd, which is 2 weeks from now. But the teachers are going to be contacting you over the next couple of days to get the family schedule together. If you have questions, concerns, or anything, and to give you the opportunity to make your decision by March 19th, which are the 3 options you would like to be involved in. I guess that's a good way to put it. But if you choose, hey, I want to stay in hybrid, then you just tell the teacher that. If you say, no, I think I want to opt out, what do I need to do? Because maybe I forgot what Ms. Ivory said on, that's okay too. We'll assist you. We'll help you make your decision. So this year, once again, if you weren't at any of my other meetings, we're always talking about the development of the whole child. And I know this has been a lot on you as a parent, having to be a classroom teacher, having your children. I have children too. I have a senior, a middle schooler, as well as an elementary kid. So I know, okay, that you ready for either your kid to be at home or you just a little bit of space for yourself. If you're seeing things that are changing in your child's behavior and you need some additional support and help with the development of the whole child, because that's what we're always focused on here is the development of the whole child, please call us. We this year will be using we started in January using Applewood. So if you need some assistance there, we can set that up for you. Mr. Hill is our contact person that will reach out to Applewood and they will get back to you immediately. Some families I can connect you to see what they think that about the Applewood program now, if you have some reservations. And it does not matter if you're not in hybrid. You can be in remote and still receive access to Applewood as well. So in closing, we have these dates. I call them kind of the mark your calendar dates. We have the end of the third marking period is on the 26th. So that is actually the week that your babies in 5th through 8th grade would be doing the hybrid here at Miles Park. In the meantime, because I know some people are saying, well, my kid, this is all about grades 5th through 8th grade, and she keeps talking about the hybrid being 2 in and 2 on remote. What happens to my kid all this time? Your kid is still in remote until it's their week 2 phase in. And if they're staying in remote, they continue on with remote. Until then, they stay with their same teachers that they have as we begin to transition into our phases. So third through 8th grade, and I have to say third because that is what the last phase is. You see the first phase are those specific teachers that I stated. Those classrooms, they come on Friday. Next phase begins the hybrid. If you chose not to opt out to go back into remote, any family member that has a pre-K through 2nd grade, that is the cohort that will be coming beginning on Monday the 15th. And the last phase is the group that I'm talking about here, which is 3rd through 8th grade, and that's the 2 in and the 2 out. If you are in remote, you remain in remote. It's just that your time moves up from the start time. It's no longer starting at 8:30. It will be starting promptly at 8:15. And that teacher will give you more directions in regards to what periods or what times that you would actually be doing your 50 minutes of ELA, 50 minutes of math, and the 50 minutes of rotation of either the science or social studies on those rotational days. Spring break is that last week of March. So just make sure that you mark your calendar in regards to that, because I go back to the example that I said, say for instance, you missed the 25th and 26th, which is a Thursday, Friday for in-person. You don't say, well, we're going out of town, so can my kid come on that Monday and Tuesday? You have to only come on the dates that you are assigned. And if your baby just happens to be sick the very first day that they're assigned, they can't be here in the building. I'm sorry, they cannot be here in the building because we'll have to call you to come pick them up. And they're not going to be able to come back until we have those symptoms clear for 24 hours. So I thank you for your time. At this time, I'm gonna check the chat and to see if we have any questions that you may have for any of my staff members that may be on the screen, so that we can make sure that we address these questions that you may have. If not, we will conclude our meeting. So let's see if we have any questions in the chat. And then if you have any individual questions for our classroom teachers. Okay, doesn't look like we have anything in the chat. Just so that you know, we have the deadline of March 19th for you. If you're interested in opting out to do hybrid or the virtual academy, if you had any questions that maybe you did not want to state out loud to everybody, remember you can email Ms. Wade, or you can call the Miles Park School, which is fine, so that we can answer that question for you individually. So if you have, those were the only questions that were in the chat or statements in the chat. At this time, you can one at a time unmute yourself so we can answer your question individually. And then if you're having a problem unmuting yourself, if you know how to use the chat, you can type it in the chat. Ms. Boland, did you have a question?
The question is, I wanted to know, I'm trying to get, I want him to come back.
You want him to stay in
Yeah.
hybrid or you want him to go on remote?
I want him to come back to school.
Okay, so all kids are assigned a hybrid placement. The only thing you would be telling us, the only time that you would need to contact us if you're saying I want my kid to be in remote. So he's already assigned his 2 days to come.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he would be fine.
Okay.
So his classroom teacher will be reaching out to you probably Thursday or Friday to tell you. And I know your baby, you'll be bringing him to school, so we won't have to worry about transportation there. So that classroom teacher will contact you and tell you what are the 2 days that your baby comes to Mouse Park.
Okay, so I will know by Thursday, right?
Thursday, so they'll call you. If you answer, then they'll tell you right then and there. If they don't hear back from you, then Friday they'll follow up. And if you don't answer the phone, they're just going to leave it on your voicemail.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Amazing. So congrats.
Okay. Did we have any other questions, parents that may be on? About any of the Miles Park staff that may have something that they would like to ask, share, or anything like that? Okay. All right. Well, we don't have any other questions. I would like to thank you for your time and coming to today's parent orientation. If you do have a scholar that is in high school, CMSD's high school orientation is actually this Thursday. You will have to reach out to the school to find out what is the link in order for you to attend. Other than that, thank you, staff members, for being on today's virtual hybrid reopening parent orientation. And I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. All right. Have a great day. Thank you, Mr. Brown.